Now, when it comes to the NEOS ETF lineup, I'm personally a huge fan of several of the ETFs that NEOS provides to investors like myself because for the most part, several of these ETFs actually solve for more or less what I'm personally looking for. Now, that being, I'm looking for ETFs that pay consistent monthly income somewhere of around, say, 5 to 12%. That income being paid out pretty tax efficiently is sort of a bonus, but on top of that, I want ETFs that track or hold on to different asset types, different underlying holdings that I want exposure to. Now, my favorite NEOS ETFs is SPYI, the S&P 500 High Income ETF. I love QQQI, the NASDAQ 100 version. As of recently, I've been buying a ton of the BTCI ETF, the Bitcoin High Income one, and of course, IYRI, the Real Estate High Income ETF, is one of my newer favorite ones I cannot get enough of. Now, I wanted to make a video going over some of these different ETFs that NEOS provides to us because just as of recently, in the month of May, some of these ETFs offered some of the biggest distributions we've seen in the last year. It means that the income potential for some of these ETFs is even larger than I expected, which is definitely also sort of shaking up the dividend investor community, and also, to be quite frank, has me wanting to buy even more shares of some of my favorite NEOS ETFs just because of what they've offered historically. So if you want to dig deep into a few of my favorite NEOS ETFs with me and talk about some of the most recent distributions, which are insanely big, well, then make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z dividend investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. Now, before we go over the distributions, once again, I want to share with you guys some of my favorite NEOS ETFs and maybe explain why. QQQI is one of my personal favorites, and this is because this ETF generates income by investing in the constituents of the NASDAQ 100, which I personally do love having exposure to in my portfolio, but then implementing a data-driven call option strategy, which is how this ETF pays around a 14% distribution rate. Now, some investors want just plain, clear exposure to the NASDAQ 100 through maybe a growth strategy, but this ETF offers it through a high income strategy, which has definitely done amazing so far. I mean, the total return on this one has been great. Now, as far as any high income ETF goes, I, for the most part, want to be attached to the index. I want to be attached to either the NASDAQ or, of course, the S&P 500, just because my risk tolerance is relatively low. So buying into something like MSTY or even Coney or lots of the other yield max products, which I do own small amounts of, is just too risky for me. But owning something that buys into the NASDAQ and or the S&P 500 and then offering a high income strategy beyond that is something right up my alley. Now, remember earlier on, I kind of talked about how the NEOS ETFs are basically offering exactly what I personally am looking for. That doesn't mean that it's offering exactly what you're looking for, but to be clear, it says right here, for example, SPYI seeks high monthly income, which is amazing. That's what I'm looking for. In a tax-efficient manner, most of the income is paid in the form of return of capital for all the NEOS ETFs from what I've seen so far, but along with that, with the potential for upside appreciation in rising markets. So again, for me, I'm looking to build out a long-term dividend portfolio that pays me high amounts of dividend income every single month in a tax-efficient manner. And then beyond that, if my portfolio grows over time too as a bonus, that's amazing. So QQQI is one of my favorites for now because it does offer that NASDAQ 100 exposure. SPYI is my other favorite. I own even more this one because it offers S&P 500 exposure, but again, through the high income strategy. Now, I get it. There's tons of other high income ETFs out there these days that do offer both the NASDAQ 100 and S&P 500 exposure, and I do also own some shares of a lot of those, but these two are two of my favorites. Now, beyond that, IYRI is the real estate high income ETF. And side note, guys, I've made videos on all these different ETFs and more on my channel. So if you're new here, check out some other videos. But this is a newer ETF from NEOS that's absolutely amazing. It offers high quality real estate exposure, but then with the use of options offers a ton of income, around 12% distribution rate as of right now. Now, the last new NEOS ETF that I've been absolutely loving as of recently is BTCI, the NEOS Bitcoin High Income ETF. Now, I personally am not the biggest fan of Bitcoin. I don't really have an interest in having crypto exposure in my portfolio. And yes, as of right now, while Bitcoin is soaring to all-time highs, I guess that was a mistake. But over the last several months, I've been buying a small amount of BTCI on autopilot every single day in one of my smaller portfolios. And history would tell me that that was a great idea because my position's up quite a bit. And on top of that, this ETF offers huge distributions with a 28% yield right now. Now, next up, talking about some of the distributions. Back in April, some of the distributions were a little bit lower because we did see some volatility in the market, although it still was pretty close to the targeted range. But now as of May, we have the biggest distribution that we've seen so far in 2025, and this is for QQQI with over a 63-cent distribution. Now, the way that I think about dividend investing is that if you can buy, let's say, $100 worth of dividend stocks or ETFs, and if you can earn, let's say, $1 or so per month off that $100 investment, I mean, that's a lot of forward income for a relatively small amount of money. Now, with QQQY, based off the most recent distribution, that is definitely possible. With SPYI, we also saw a very nice size distribution of 50 cents, back up a lot from 46 cents last month. IYRI also offered a nice steady 48-cent payout, which is basically in line with the previous month, and the real estate sector has still been pretty strapped as of right now, so I think it's going to take some time for this one to really start cooking. Now, BTCI obviously has really shined as of recently because Bitcoin has been doing amazing, $1.51 plus in the month of May. Now, that means that if you have just a few shares of this one, you're looking at $5 or $10 per month in forward income based off that most recent distribution. Now, what's also sort of cool is that if you look at every single one of these ETFs that I just talked about, some of my favorite NEOS ETFs, we're talking SPYI, QQQY, IYRI, and BTCI. If we look at all their total return performance since inception, every single one of these, all four, are not only in the green, but 3 of the 4 are doing very, very well and offering great returns for investors. Now, IYRI is sort of lagging behind as of right now. Like I said, I think we all know that the real estate investment trusts have not been a sweet spot for the market, especially now with bond yields soaring. But BTCI since inception has offered over 50% total return. SPYI has offered over 38% total return. Then we have QQQY offering over 21% and the IYRI ETF offering just over 2%. So every single one of these ETFs have offered a nice positive total return, which is amazing. And I have a good feeling because of what these 4 ETFs track, reference, or hold on to, I think all 4 of these are going to do pretty well over the next several decades. So now that we talked about some of my favorite NEOS high income ETFs, and I share with you guys some of the most recent distributions and how this is sort of changing the game for dividend investors, I mean, these names are becoming very tempting to dump a lot more money into just because of their consistency. They have no NAV decay, they offer positive total returns, and one of my favorite reasons, they offer exposure to several different areas of the market that I personally want more of. I want to hear from you guys down below. Out of all the NEOS ETFs across the market as of right now, what's your number one favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like in it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.